Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on just kind of like an update on the antique journal and what I've gotten accomplished on it so far and what I plan to do. And we may do a few little stampings and things along the way. I also wanted to try this idea that I had with the jelly plate. And I think I'll take one of my coffee dyed papers here and use this foil that I purchased and see if it'll work. It says it's a heat transferring foil. I don't think it'll make a difference, but it's an idea that I've been seeing on the internet. It's a couple years old though, but I wanted to try it, and I thought it'd make a nice background for something in the antique journal. And we're going to look at the sneaky peek. All right, let's get this baby out and see where I left off. We had some excitement here last night. It wasn't a good day to be on the spread here because we had the chicken coop burned down. My mom's chicken coop caught on fire. She calls me, says the chicken coop's on fire, and says, look down here. And I looked down, that thing was toasting. I mean, it was on fire. And I walked down there. I got dressed and walked down there, and it was up in flames. The whole thing was on fire. So my sister, her dog warned her, because she lives in the garage next door on the other end. The dog warned her. I guess it smelled smoke because it's got like, it's a kind of a hound. So she got out there and saw it and called the rescue, not the rescue squad, the fire department. We must have had 10 trucks here last night. It was something. Okay, maybe more on that later. This page is, I guess, a page about my grandparents. Now, I went with Dad down where James Harrison Salmons lived. Now, he made all the old tombstones for the family, but he never did figure out. He waited too long, like 20 years or something, I was told. And then when he went to take the stones over, he couldn't find where everybody was buried. He made one for my grandfather, one for my grandma's parents. And so anyway, I finally was able to figure out where she was buried because she died in 1941, and they only started keeping records from 1940 forward. So I knew he would be beside her. And then I was told on the opposite side of my dad's brother Bill, that had a white military stone there, was the other one, which would have been my grandfather. So that's how I figured it out. I got stones for my grandfather made and stones for my great-grandparents and put it over. Since I didn't know his full dates, and I didn't know it until I found this stone. This was beforehand. They said instead of having like iffy dates or partial dates, just to go with the years. So that's why I went with that here. I found their death certificates, and I couldn't find any obits for them. I set up here, either in West Virginia or in Bath County, Virginia. They were really new to the area. I mean, Fred, he died like that year when they got over there, just a few months after they got there. And they didn't have that much money. I don't know if that was what held it back, or if there's wars or something going on at that time. But at the time, I said at the time I had the stones made, I didn't know the date of birth. Okay, that's what I was saying. Then when I finally got down to the old home place of James Harrison Salmons on Sanger's Lane, I found Fred and Mary Elizabeth Stone. And like I said, here is their death certificate. And they're pretty well informed because James Harrison was the informant on both of them. So he knew the parents of both, and where they lived. And all that kind of important information he knew. So I got a lot of information from that. I think this one I just threw in here because that was for Doc Johnson, who married my grandpa's sister. So I needed to put it in here somewhere, I think in his area. I don't think it's this far ahead, though. And here's a cute little page I made with some of my scrapbook stuff. I had some ghosties. I had this background page, a 12 by 12. So I put that in there. There was like little trees and tombstones down here. Oh, that's too far down. That you can see down here. Had a haunted house, which is cute, with a little gate and the pumpkin with the ghost with a pumpkin. That one's got a spider. And then the other one's up here with the bats and the moon. But this was some ghost stories that a girl had told me about my great-grandpa Fred. I guess I'll read those. I had sent her cousin a photo of the grandparents that contained Fred and Polly. She has relatives living in Fred Salmon's old home place on Stone Cold Road, which is not there anymore. It's gone. They have seen a man that fits his description at times in the house. I believe the reason that he may be haunting over there as opposed to over here was he was more familiar with his home place, and he really wasn't over in Bath County but a couple months before he died. The family was settling at Fort Dinwiddie, and the census taker came around on the 18th of April, 1930, and Fred had passed away on the 8th of April, 1930. I did not find my great-grandma Polly on the census either. So I was assuming that she was either in mourning or was preparing, well, it wouldn't be preparing his funeral. She must have been in mourning, and they just didn't list her on the census. And I know they were in Stone Cold in November 1929 because of my Uncle Harrison's birth. Well, Vicky Spalding, who was telling me some of these stories, said this Fred Salmons, who is in this picture, the beardy old guy, I talked to a woman today, and I've known her all my life. She used to live in the house that Fred lived in. Didn't know it at the time that he lived there. She used to tell me a story when her youngest son was a baby. Her and her husband lived in this house, and one day she was going to change the baby's diaper. Well, someone walked up beside her, and she thought it was her husband had come home from work early. So she reached the diaper up, meaning for him to change the baby. Well, the diaper wasn't being taken from her hand, so she looked up, and this old man with a beard was standing there. She grabbed the baby and bowed her head and said, "Oh God, let this man go away." Then she said it again, and when she looked up, he was gone. Now, the funny thing was that when I showed her this picture you sent to her and her mom, I thought she would fall over. She said, "That's him. That's him. That's who I saw." I'm about to fall over, but I have heard so many stories about this house. You couldn't pay me to go in there by myself. Then she says, my mom and dad lived there a few years while I was a baby, and Mom said she never did see anything but just the shadow from time to time. But the weird thing is, the spoon drawer in the kitchen would rattle and shake, and sometimes they would dump out in the floor. They lived there with my granddad Sherman, and Mom thought for a long time that it was him just trying to scare her. But one day she was there by herself, and the spoon drawer started in again. She said she got up to go look, and when she got to the kitchen, the silverware was in the floor, so she knew it wasn't Granddad that time. Then she got a little spooked. So from then on, she knew when she heard the spoons, it was someone, old Uncle Fred maybe, wanting her attention. You know, all my life I've heard some wild stories about Stone Cold, and I don't know if they're true or not. But I need to sit down and write down these stories so no one will forget. But that house up there, so many people has died there. Probably so many spirits, and it's running around. Oh my goodness. Okay. There was some spooky stuff for you today. Oh my goodness. Yeah, all these kind of fun things you find out as you're going along the way. Now, these are two of my stamp kits that I want to use. I think I showed you before. Mini Muse CMS 063. Has an old Model T car. Has some tickets and bingo cards. It has this film strip thing, and this has photographs. And I thought to use them. And like I've got the teacups and stuff that's going in here, I'll probably use the, what do you call that? A tea stain? A coffee ring? Coffee, something like that. And of course, I've got to use the typewriter. I've got to figure out where it's going to go. And I also have the light bulbs to go in. So I just have to figure out where. I've got this extra piece of paper that I'll probably stamp on, because a lot of times when I stamp on some of these real thin papers, you see it on the other side. And I just don't want that to happen. Okay, let me get this out of the way. And I haven't done anything else. Oh, I'm turned around, sorry. I haven't done anything else to the cover. So it's still the same old that you saw before. But I was having to make sure that whatever I had for it wasn't going to be too much for the cover. So I have everything kind of stacked up here and folded in half already. And I think it's only about halfway. So I'm good. I don't want to make it tight, but I've got some vellum papers that I chose here to put in it. So let me show you those. And I got them out of that pack that I got from Michael's not long ago. But this is just some papers, like maybe from out of a book or something. And then I like this one because this is a, just kind of like an old-fashioned tile design. I thought that would look good because I'm trying to keep to the antique theme. And then this could be for like a newspaper or a book. I don't know which. I do probably need to print me off a couple of newspapers. That might work in here, especially if they have a date on them. And this is some old music or something that's kind of piled up. I'm not really sure what all that is. Okay, so there's that. And I've got these two that I mentioned before. I had an old book about metalware. So I printed the hammers out on this side. And on that side, you've got the old sad irons, they call them. That one's called a charcoal iron. And then there's a carriage jack. And I figure I'm going to just kind of... I can only have it 6 inches wide. So I'm probably going to just crease it right down the center. And just do it that way. This one has the old locks and keys on it. Tumbler padlocks, they call it. And then I've got the letter box. Or the letter for the door. Letterbox plate. That's what they call it. Okay. That's it. Alright. And I've got a couple of other ones that have like a trowel where you're doing masonry. And scissors on it. And they will probably go on the back side of one of these other pages. So here's that page that I made before, and I will probably be putting something on here because I don't know that you could like actually write on this and see it. So most of my things are made to be written on, like journaled on. I don't know, this might be more of a lookbook. It just depends on whoever buys it, what they want to do with it. But I had made this a while back and decided to put it in here. And here's the old phone. My phone that I love, love, love. So I was showing you, actually, I printed or stamped hello there. You got the numbers up here. And I've got this to where it'll slide in just like that. And then they tuck in. Once you get that one started in there, then you bend that. This is just regular, oh, what do you call that paper? Cardstock. There we go. Anyhow, so that's how I was going to do that. I don't know what I'll put on there, but I'll be putting something. Now these are pages that I made or pulled out. I think it was one of those big pads from Hobby Lobby. And then some of it's Kirby Teasdale. So the back sides are all white. So I need to do something with them. But I think, and I thought that looked like wallpaper. And then this definitely looks like wallpaper. And it's got like old carriages and things on there. I thought that worked out really good. This one's sort of old advertisements and things. So I have to, you know, figure out something for the insides of all those. This set, though, going forward, I've already got something on the inside. I mean, as you saw the other day, I had a little bit of a rip here. So I put this washi tape. And it's got old things on it as well, and little phrases. So I thought that was cute to go there. And this you saw me do the other day. And I found this to go in it, since this is about sewing and quilts and fabric. I decided to put that down here in the pocket. And so yeah, I got that for there. I found this pretty one with the flower on it. And it's just got that on the back side. And then I just went to town and I didn't do anything up in here. I thought I would put a couple of the light bulbs or something. I'm still looking into that. But I did do a little, somebody sent me this. I don't know if it was Tommy or who. It's just a little, I don't know, it's not vellum. What is that called? Glassine? Yeah. It's like a little glassine pocket. And it had this little sticker on it to keep it shut. Somebody sent me something in it. And so I just did a little collage down here on it. And it kind of has the flowers and colors that are up here. They're square, so that reflects what else is on here. So, yeah. There's that. Now, this one, I had this thing of rub-ons that were gold plates, silverware, things to do about dining. I got from the Dollar Tree. Well, and I put it on the one with the silverware. But it didn't do that great a job. It's kind of hard to see where it messed up, so that's a good thing. It just kind of adds a little shine and interest to that page. And then you got this one. Now that's the rice paper where I had ripped it in half, sort of. And then I got in here and I put the vintage photo, and then I went around a little bit with ground espresso, and then I did some scorched timber on some of the edge pieces that really darken it. Like right down here, you can kind of see what I did. These are two of the cutouts that were on that back page. I've also got a little bit of the rub-ons in here as well. This one you can see didn't turn out very well. They were really old. I did get the fork to stick up here, and I got the Bon Appetit up here. So, but I think it turned out really pretty. I mean, these are areas in here that you could write on if you wanted to. And I actually tried to put something down here. It was like a long phrase, and it wouldn't even work. And I barely got that little squiggle to work. I don't know what was going on with those things. Anyhow, I've got this one that looks like women's news. I don't really know what. It's got things about girdles, corsets, fashion. It had all kinds of stuff like that, and it's in French, I think. So inside of here, I put the watch, because this was like a, you know, sepia tone kind of deal. So I did the same for the inside. And of course, you can see I ripped them a little differently each time. As per the images, I was trying to work out where I got the most images and things to adhere right or be seen. Now this one has to do with writing, and I might have to get that one stamp pad out. All right, I had to get over and dig real quick before I forgot it. But this is Topography CMS 188, and I've got this ink bottle and the writing hand, which is, look at that, it's the same hand. But I thought what I could do was on the back side, maybe, since this one has really nothing on it, I could come in here with maybe black, because it'll be black ink that what they would use, and use maybe the flourish, the hand, and this. Since the hand is on this side, I could probably put it on this side, and as you flip the page, you wouldn't really see that it was a repeat. So I'm sure I'll do that, and then maybe put maybe that too. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Now, what did I do with the rest of those? Oh, let's just throw it there. Okay, so there's that page. This one has a little bit brighter colors, but I think they still kind of work. Now, this is the one that has that real tall lady that I always had trouble getting her on anything. But it's got a bird and, of course, that corset's on here, too. So, see, it's on that one page way back here, and then it's on this page. So, it's like a reflection. Plus, it's sort of like a newspaper or something. Here is the sewing page. So the corset is here, and then you turn the page and the corset is there. So I thought that worked out really good. I still have to get in here and figure out how I'm going to put them together, though. So I cut out some of the cutouts, which was the dress form and the 2 scissors, and I put them down. And then we have this one, which has a bunch of flowers on one side. And, you know, it might be upside down. But it also has like a doily over here. And I did choose a doily to go in with this that has like a bluish tone to it. So that would probably be a good place to put the doily into the journal page. I'm going to have 4 signatures, by the way. So anyway, I got that there. And then I've got this over here. And I thought that was real pretty with the crackle and everything. I don't know that I might try to squeeze some more crackling into here with a stamp that I've got, or if I'll try to go that route. I don't know. And this is the actual pages from the book, the actual Stamperia pad. So I've got the little bear page, and you turn it and it's got the bears on the back side too. And I thought it would go with this. I tried to put the 2 pages, because I got 8 of them here for all, the 4 signatures. And then I tried to put the 2 pages that I thought would go together, though they're going to have other pages in between, so it wouldn't really matter. But I've got the beautiful Tiffany lamp that will be in the same signature with that one. Here is the dress form, which has the corsets on the other side. It's kind of a repeat of some of the rice paper, but it'll be in a totally different signature, so I think it'll be okay. So I decided to put this that has the dress form in front of the shop in this same one here. And then it'll be like that. And then the next to the last is this one with the clocks. So you open this up and you have some clocks, and then you've got the camera one. So I've got some things to put in beside the camera one. And that one, it's got the art of photography, so I could still do it there too. And then we have the one with the teacups. So I have a few little stick-on teacups that I got from the Dollar Tree, so I may be using those with this. So see, you got the teacup on this style page, so it may be I put a couple of these teacups from the cut-aparts on there as well. But it's got some of the pretty hydrangeas here. At least on that side, they do. I don't know if I could steal some from a hydrangea hortensia journal down there. Or journal, not the Stamperia pad, I mean. So you got the cups, and I put the plates with them. And I love the silverware spoon spread right here. I really love that. But yeah, all kinds of old silverware. And there's a bird cage. And I do have a stamp that's got a bird cage on it. And I'm thinking about using that as well. So as I go along and I see these things, and I think, well, would that be considered old-fashioned or antique? And if they are, then I'm going with it. So here are some of the pages. I got 2 tea dye ones. I got this one that was actually tea bag after I had emptied the grounds out of it, and I laid that on there. And it made that impression when I sandwiched it between another one. Now, this kind of goes really closely with this flower, so I thought it might go with the color scheme as this one. That one really goes with that flower. I'm still debating on that orange one, though. And then I've got this light green one that I made. And this was some paper from Miss Wren Shotwell. She is on Etsy. I don't know if she is Wonders by Wink on Etsy, if you would like to go to her shop and see what she's got to sell there. And this is the one that has the denim writ dye on it. And I thought that would go well on that one page I pointed out. So that's all the goodies I have there. Now, I did mention that I think I'm going to take one of these and do... I don't know which would be the better one. Take one of these and I'm going to do that jelly print experiment with it that I saw somebody do. Let's see. Where is it? Now, I really haven't done any jelly printing with you guys because it's like everybody else in the world is doing it. And I haven't really practiced or played with it. I really haven't. So we're going to take, I guess you just take one of these off. As you can see, I haven't used this one at all. And then I got a bigger one. But I've got a lot of paint. So I'm going to get out here one day and I'm going to work on doing some jelly printing. So this here will probably go on one end. Yeah, pretty much I do this along that edge and I'll have it where I can fold it in half to go in the book. Just like this. So maybe I'll do it on this back side here because that's pretty plain. Usually when you do anything with coffee dye, it's stronger on one side than it is the other. Now, from what I understand, how this works is you're supposed to get in here and put this down. I don't know that I needed any paint. I think this just goes straight onto here. So let's see. Can I bend this? Yeah, because you're supposed to be able to bend it. I should have looked this up before I got on here. There's been so much going on here lately. Like I said, we had the fire last night, and I went down there, and I was trying to lead them to where they needed to go, and they actually had to come up my driveway. I'm next door. So they had to come up my driveway to get to the back side where they could actually throw the water onto the actual chicken house. Because the wind was blowing really hard. So all of that was getting, it was blowing across where they could have came through, in other words. I got to get the air bubbles out of this, that's for sure. And let me go across right here. This was a rose gold that I got at the Hobby Lobby last time we were down there the other week. Okay. And from what I understand, let me squeeze out the air if I can. And then it doesn't act like it's sticking down that well. Was I supposed to put paint? Well, it's not really sticking, is it? Let's see if I can scratch it on there. If this doesn't work, I'll just try it again. No, it's not really sticking. Maybe I need the paint. So let me get a little dab of paint out and try it. It's not going to hurt nothing because I got plenty of this stuff. Now I've got a little bit of fabric paint here. Let's try that. If it still works. And it's a bronze color. It might be dry. I have had this. This does fabric. So we were doing t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that way back when. So I've used this to dye papers with, that kind of thing. So I'm not wasting a thing. It's all right. Let's see how this works. It might add that extra color that I would like to have. It is sliding around, y'all. I know I'm not supposed to have it on here too thick, so I know I'm supposed to have it to where, let me move this over a bit, where I'm supposed to have a rub-off sheet. That's kind of an interesting combination there. All right. Let's see. From my understanding, it's supposed to be kind of almost transparent. All right. Now let's see if we can get this back down and see what we can make out of it. All right. Let me rub this off some more. As you can see, this is where I was doing a lot of my inking along the edges of my pages. All right. And then I'm going to go across here. See if I can get it to go down. Guys, I really don't know if I'm doing this right. Or if this is the wrong kind of foil, since it's a heat foil. Alright, I'm definitely doing something wrong. I'm only getting a little bit of transfer, so I'm going to have to... Oh, there was a bunch that came off. Where is it that I'm supposed to put the paint on here and let that dry? Or what? Well, I'm getting a bit more transfer. I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to let that paint dry a whole lot more than it did before I did the pulling. I'm not getting too much more than that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this to work. Now the thing was, you were supposed to bend it to get a crackle look, but it's not making a crackle look at all. I'm going to put this on a scrap. Okay, and then I think you're supposed to put more paint on. And then let that almost dry and then pull it. I told you I'm not very skilled at this at all. Not at all. Yeah, I gotta watch the video again. Let me do this, and then I'll pull it. Maybe even I'll put a little paint there. And I've got this piece of black here that I'm hoping will help figure out where that's supposed to be pulling from. I'll do a little bit more investigating with that later. Okay, now let's see. I've got stars on here. This is something somebody sent me a while back. Actually, let me just put that here. See if I can pull it. I don't know if it's the proper type of paper. Well, that sure didn't work. It's being 0 for 0. Maybe I'm being too impatient. Yep, nothing. Oh, I got a little bit of transfer. Am I supposed to be doing this? I can see why people like to just do this on their own, because you never know what's going to happen. Nothing's working out. Okay, as far as I can tell, I think that's almost dry. I'm just going to use this. Look, you can see some of that came out. Maybe it's the type of paper or something I'm using. I don't know. Okay. Well, I still think I'm doing it wrong. Oh, yeah. Something's definitely wrong. Okay, we're going to put this out to pasture until I go watch a video. You just never know until you try, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, we're doing a little bit of stamping. So here is the, what is that, Curiosity Shop. Yeah, Curiosity Shop CMS 482. So we're going to get us a few little stamps out here with the light bulbs. I had one page I definitely wanted to put the light bulbs on. So we're going to stamp them like that. And then stamp off. All kinds of stuff going on this page. And then we're going to have another stamp of the smaller light bulb. I guess I'll stick that over there. Which looks like something that goes in the lights of a car. Doesn't it? Or those tiny, tiny little flashlight bulbs. It kind of reminds me of that as well. So we're going to do that there. Stamp that off. Put that back in here. Then we're going to go for the... getting this all over my fingers. The typewriter. So I'll go with the bigger one for that. There we go. And I'll just stick that right over here in this corner. I'll have to decide whether I want to put the wording in here later on when I figure out what page I'm going to use this on. Now the page the typewriter is going on, I'm also going to have, oops, I done buried it. I'm also going to have that on the page somewhere. So I don't know whether I'm going to rip around the outside edges of this or how exactly I'm going to do that. So the typewriter, let's get that stamped off. Put back in. I don't think there's anything else on this page that I need. I know I've got the top hats and everything and the pointy fingers and the big numbers. I don't know. The big numbers might come in to play later on. But I know definitely the things that I want to, out of this one are the ink bottle. And then the hand. And I'm trying to figure out if I put the letters down, which looks like the type of letters you would write with, I would definitely want those actually on the page. So I'm going to have to wait and debate on that one. Wait and debate. Put that down right there. All of these I'm going to fussy cut around. And, yep, turned out good. Let's get that pushed down on this side. It's kind of a cool background with all that gold and stuff. I have to see if I can get that to work. I really wanted it to work. Really did. Alright. The only thing with this one, you have to watch out for that little triangle right there, I've noticed. So, see, it catches it every time. And that'll stamp off as well. So I usually have to go back in and wipe that off before I stamp with it. Otherwise it transfers. Maybe that'll do it. Okay, let's see. Alright. Now this would be a better one to be able to stamp right on the page. But like I said, it's kind of an iffy situation with thinner pages. Alright, let me see if I can stamp that. Okay. I think that'll work. I really like the squiggly, but that's another one of those that I'm going to have to look at a later date. All right. Okay, this is the one that I'm going to put the words, the ink bottle, the hand are going to go down here. And then see, the writing hand and the postcard are over there. So what I think I'm going to do is to stamp it up here, because I think between the rice paper and this thin paper, it will work. Now I got to get it right side up. And I would like to possibly have it on a card. I changed my mind. I'm going to put it onto this paper, which I can back with something and you wouldn't see it, but I want to make a belly band or a pocket because the other side has the postcard with it. And I think, well, that might be nice to have a postcard stuck in that page so there's something that could be written on. You know me, I'm always wanting to have some type of writing item to make it functional as a journal. Oh, let me tell you. So I was down there for at least an hour and a half with the fire, and it was cold. The wind was blowing, but I was on the other side of the garage, so that kind of cut the wind. But like I said, there was about 10 fire trucks down there. 2 of them come up my driveway to get back to the chicken house, as I was mentioning before. And what happened was he must have knocked off a ladder or something, because my husband saw a ladder in the drive when he went out to go work this morning. So I know they had trouble getting up that driveway because I smelt the brakes burning when they finally got all the way up there. But anyhow, they were there for a long time. There was a girl that was prodding around in the main garage part, making sure that nothing had went through, no flames, no burning embers, anything that would keep going once they left. And then they were hosing down the last section because that was the part that burned. And then they were taking care of the next section up, which it was starting to come through on when they got there. And they started hosing that side. And they hosed it good because I was on the back side watching the chicken house. And I could hear it hitting against the back of the boards there. So anyhow, me and my sister and my brother, we were standing out there and watching, and he was taking a tally of what had gone wrong and everything. And so they were still there conversing. I mean, we must have had 20 or 30 firefighters. There was ladies there as well. It wasn't just all men. And they were looking at things and trying to figure things out. I guess they had to ask you questions to fill out the report kind of thing. And then I'm standing there and I'm watching them all kind of looking in that last section that burnt really good. And there was somebody over there with a tripod setting it up in our old garden, which is right there about 20 feet away. And I said, what is he going to do? Take pictures? And my brother said, no, he said, that's the Channel 3 News. They come out to film what was going on. How exciting that we were on film about having, a chicken coop catch on fire. How sad. But anyway, so my brother says, don't look that way if you don't want to be on the news. I said, well, I'm going home. And then my poor husband, I said, if he texted me and sent me a picture and said he hit a deer going to work this morning. Oh, gosh. Tore up a good bit of the front of his truck, but it didn't do too much damage to it. I mean, it didn't take out the the headlight or anything else. He can drive it until he gets it fixed. Yeah. If it doesn't rain, it pours, I guess. And so, yeah, that was all the excitement that happened on the spread all last night. Yeah, I'm sitting there, and she calls me, and I think it was 12:30, because I'm thinking, what in the world is she calling me at 12:30 for? So I went down and got the scoop, kind of, and that's what I was trying to find out, what was going on, and what had been damaged and lost and everything, because she stayed inside. And so I was calling her once I got home and let her kind of know what what happened and how everything was going to work. I asked my brother if he could use that. It was an accident, so I'm thinking you can use your home insurance on that. But I guess he has to find that out. So anyhow, I guess I'm going to get off of here now and see if I can get this loaded for you to see this afternoon. And I really want to thank everyone for coming, and all my subscribers and viewers. I appreciate you stopping by. Hope you got to hear a few more the stories, and appreciate the stories of the family. And then not only the old stories of the family, but the most recent one. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine. I'll have to see if my husband can get on the Stanton Leader or whatever and see if there was any write-up on it as well in the newspaper. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone, and I really appreciate you coming by. And everybody have a great, great day. All right. Bye-bye.